There's a rocking chair on my porch that I've had since 1989. I sit in it most mornings with my coffee, and I look out at the same street I've looked at for 50 years. Same elm tree, same cracked sidewalk, same quiet. I used to think this was peace. Now I'm not so sure it wasn't just fear that got comfortable. My father used to say, "Don't reach further than your arm." He meant it kindly. He came from nothing, built something modest and stable, and he wanted that stability for me. I took his words and I built walls with them. Respectable walls, reasonable walls, walls that kept everything uncertain safely on the other side. There was a teaching position in Boston in 1974, a university. Someone had read a paper I'd written and reached out directly. The only time in my life that ever happened. Maggie was excited. I remember her face at the kitchen table when I told her, this light in her eyes that I didn't see often enough. I turned it down. Too uncertain, I told her. We had Daniel by then, Claire on the way. Millhaven was stable. The school was stable. We knew people here. The university was a risk, and I was not a man who took risks. Maggie nodded. She didn't argue, but that light went out of her eyes and she went back to washing the dishes, and I told myself I had made the responsible choice. Maybe I had. I'll never know. That's the part that stays with me, not knowing. The responsible choice closes the door so completely you never find out what was behind it. There were smaller risks too. An investment in a friend's business in 1981 that I declined because it seemed unstable. It wasn't. A chance to spend a sabbatical year writing that I turned down because it felt self-indulgent. A conversation with Daniel in 2002 where he asked me if I'd ever wanted a different life, and I said no quickly without thinking because sitting with that question felt dangerous. I should have sat with that question. The truth is, I wanted many things I never let myself want out loud. I wanted to write something that mattered. I wanted to travel without a careful budget and a return date already booked. I wanted to say yes to things before I'd calculated every possible way they could go wrong. But I was afraid. I just never called it that. I called it practical, responsible, sensible. Those are fine words. They're also very good at disguising fear so that it feels like wisdom. The risks I did take, marrying Maggie, buying this house, saying yes to 38 years in the same classroom, those turned out fine, better than fine. But they were safe risks, risks with visible flaws. I knew how far I could fall. I never jumped when I couldn't see the bottom. And now I'm sitting on this porch and I'm 84 and the bottom is visible again, closer than it's ever been. And I find myself thinking about Boston, about the look on Maggie's face, about Daniel's question that I answered too fast. I think about the version of me that said yes, that got on the train to Boston with 2 kids and a wife who had light in her eyes. I don't know if that life was better, but I know it was lived differently, more fully, with the windows open rather than locked against the draught. You can be safe your whole life and arrive at the end of it wondering what the danger would have felt like. I don't recommend it,